Hey everyone, Golden Ninja 3000 here again with another LEGO Harry Potter review. Today I've got 18 plus set number 76419 Hogwarts Castle and Grounds. This set comes with 2,660 pieces, one minifigure, and it retails for, I believe, 170 US dollars. I don't think it's 180, I'm pretty sure it's 170. This released on September 1st, and I'm really excited about it because I love Harry Potter. I love Hogwarts Castle, and getting a complete Hogwarts Castle in Lego for the very first time in history is just so cool. I can't wait to talk about this with you guys. Before we get into it, though, I do want to remind everyone that I am an employee of the LEGO Group. However, all opinions expressed in these videos are my own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the LEGO Group. And LEGO is a registered trademark of the LEGO Group of companies, which does not sponsor, authorize, or endorse this site. The singular minifigure in this set is the Architect of Hogwarts, who is a minifigure we've actually gotten before. It's just a statue, it's not supposed to be a living character, but it did come in an advent calendar a couple of years ago. It might have been the very first one, actually, in like 2019. This version is definitely way more detailed, though. You have great torso and robe printing, and a brand new mold for the beard, which was really surprising. This is not the kind of character I would expect a whole new piece for, but it looks really cool, and you do have a printed pearl gold hat as well. This would look perfect with your other gold collectible Harry Potter minifigures from the 20th anniversary in 2021. And he is holding a scroll in one hand and then a little model of the Great Hall and Marble Staircase Tower in the other. And there's a quick look at his face and torso printing. So, as I said in the intro, this is the very first time LEGO has ever produced a complete Hogwarts castle. The minifigure scale sets are just little sections of the castle that you can put together, but they don't look like the actual castle in the movies. And then, of course, we have the really amazing micro scale version of the castle from 2018. That is one of my favorite LEGO sets ever, but it's still only half of the castle. So, in that 2018 set, you have the Great Hall, Marble Staircase Tower, that little building to the right of it, but not the quad behind it. And then you have the Viaduct and the Viaduct Entrance building. So basically, the 2018 set cuts off right here. So it is only half the castle. And I was waiting. I was hoping that LEGO would make the second half of the castle as a companion set. They never did, which I can fully understand why. It's way less iconic than the Great Hall and the Viaduct. There is a really cool mock of it on Rebrickable that I've had my eye on for like 5 years, but it would cost $2,000 to buy all the parts. So that's a whole nother story, but I'm still hoping to do that one day. The point is that this is the complete castle, architecturally accurate and everything. It is micro scale. It is way smaller than the 2018 version. And that's really interesting to me because it's not often that we see like large Lego sets produced of the same subject matter in micro scale, but at two different micro scales. I'm going to go ahead and spin this around for you guys as I keep talking, but I just love the design of Hogwarts in general. I think it's captured beautifully in this Lego set, and it's so cool. Like, I've been to the Warner Brothers studio tour in London. I've seen the scale model of Hogwarts. I mean, in high school, I even wrote like a 10-page math essay about the Lego 2018 Hogwarts Castle set 71043 because I was trying to figure out the real size of the castle based on the studio model and the Lego set. And this is like the perfect marriage of both because it is like your own little Lego version of the complete castle, just like the scale model is. All right, I think that's enough talking just in general terms. Let's dive into some of the details. This is kind of like a Lego architecture set because the whole thing is on this really stylish, thin black base. It's only 2 plates high, and as you can see, that is causing this corner to lift up a little bit with the weight of the bricks placed at the back. But that's okay, it doesn't really bother me. You do have, just like architecture sets, a Hogwarts Castle printed tile, which looks excellent. And then these two sections are where you can put the architect on his little golden minifigure stand. So you can put him in the center, but to be honest, I don't really like that look. I thought I did in the pictures, but in real life, I'm just kind of like, you're in the way, like I want the full, like, unbroken look at the castle. So you can also put him on the edge, and I appreciate those two different, like, kind of built-in options. because I definitely like him better on the edge, you know? Like, his castle's behind him, his life's work is behind him, but I can admire this without him kind of drawing my eye. Because this is the castle and grounds, for the first time, we have a large section of the lake. Well, I mean, we kind of have all of the lake, because even in the 2018 set, that didn't come with any kind of lake whatsoever. It was just the rock base. So I really like the different colors used to show like the depth gradient. That's a technique that's been used in a lot of sets. So you have regular translate blue, and then you have this trans like regular blue, and it looks really really nice. And you have that same thing continuing all along the side. It only gets cut off like at this edge because the lake doesn't go, well, it does go. Does it go all the way around the castle? No, Hogwarts is kind of on a peninsula, right? Like there's cliffs and stuff out here. There's not more lake. So I think you do get like as much lake as you could possibly get from a set like this. And yeah, that looks perfect. No complaints about that. Actually, behind the viaduct, whoops, let me lift that up a little bit. But behind the viaduct, you can kind of see like a little river winding its way through, and we'll get a closer look at that when we look at this set from the back. But for now, I want to talk about a major feature of the lake, which is the Durmstrang ship. This has been made as a Lego set only once before, like way back in 2004 or 2005, and it's one of the sets I've been like most waiting for a remake for from the new Harry Potter line, and it's nice to get a little miniature version of it. Because of course the Durmstrang students arrived on a ship that just kind of popped up in the middle of the Black Lake in the movie Goblet of Fire, and that's perfectly recreated here. I love the little like wave splashy look with these transparent, clear, like just slope pieces, and the ship itself is suitably imposing. Like it's large, it cuts like a striking figure against the rest of the castle, but it doesn't like pull focus from the castle. It only enhances it, and I think that that's it's a pretty fine line to walk with small models. These little clips on top are representing flags, and they really stand out nicely. Like this is probably the brightest color on the entire model, this orange. And yeah, the whole thing is just really nicely detailed for something so small. And I mean, if you don't like it, honestly, just take it out and then just remove these pieces and tile that area over. It's really simple to take it out if you think it's too distracting. The rock base is built up with just a bunch of small and like larger slope bricks. It felt very similar to how, the rocks were built up on that 2018 set. But what I really love are the little trees scattered all around. So let me zoom in a little bit more. That is actually just a sand green crystal piece. Like one of those classic Lego, like Power Miners crystal parts, but in sand green, I think for the very first time. That is excellent. They do look like trees. They don't just look like crystals. That color really goes a long way. I like the olive green color choice for the grass, which, again, I think that was the same in the 2018 set. The whole color scheme is the same as the 2018 set, like regular and dark tan for the castle with the dark bluish gray roofs that you don't find on the minifigure scale sets anymore these days. And then we have olive green for the grass. And there are some dark green trees as well that are made with like the popcorn or ice cream scoop pieces, and those also look fantastic. Honestly, I kind of wish that there were more trees because you have like a couple over here. There's a couple on the end by the greenhouses that we'll end up looking at, and then there's a few right here by the viaduct. But yeah, I could have done with some more. I might have to get some on Pick-a-Brick so I can just really populate this area. But maybe we should get to the actual castle now. So we'll start at the boathouse because, of course, you're supposed to sail across the Black Lake and then you land at the boathouse. This little build looks pretty great. It's really basic at this scale, but I do like the black brick here that makes it look like there's an entryway. This turret might be a little bit tall. I don't know, just it looks a little bit out of place to me. Maybe it is supposed to be that tall, but the brown is just like a little bit, it sticks out a little bit, I think, that reddish brown piece. But then you do have like the walkway up to the top of the, or not to the top, but up to the castle, up to where the Great Hall is. So students can just walk up all of these stairs and then they'll make it to the Great Hall courtyard. And you can also see another path winding its way along the Great Hall back here. And these really look exactly like stairs. I'm not sure, like, are these stairs in the movie? Because if they aren't, then I have no idea what they are. Because these look even more like stairs than these do. But the paths are really nice because even though there's no, nano figures or anything in this set, it still makes you feel like someone could be walking along those. And then, like I said, you make your way to the courtyard where the Great Hall is. We have these tiny little archways that look perfect. I think that this is supposed to be where Filch's office is in the movies. I'm not 100% sure, but that is accurate to the real thing. Or, I mean, a real thing, because Hogwarts doesn't actually exist. And then you have some really nice prints up here. This set is full of printed parts. There is not one sticker in here. Everything you see that's decorated is an exclusive print. And that is super deluxe. It really goes a long way to making you feel like you get your money's worth. And I was really, really happy and surprised, not just that everything was printed, but to see so many prints in this set. This one is a little bit misaligned, as you can see, but it still looks excellent. It's got the little clock, and then you have the actual door, and then you have these two little like half arches kind of letting you in there. Let me see if I can angle this down a little bit. But yeah, that's a little bit of a better look. And I also like how some Technic bricks are used as window pieces. The Great Hall itself is very accurate. The roof is a little bit featureless, I'd say, but it's kind of hard to really build in detail at this scale. You do have the windows, although the stained glass effect isn't recreated, it's just gray windows. But the pillars, I think, do look really good. I'm not sure if these are supposed to be windows as well. I think they work. You know, like I can definitely see those being windows. And you do have the three turrets on top. And then you have another little mini build here, which I think looks excellent as well. It's the Beaubaton carriage. And I mean, it's a little bit like not perfectly to scale because these are the horses, and the horses should not be the same size as the carriage, or should they? I mean, they were really big in the books. I remember that. But anyway, the horses are built up, or the Pegasi, I guess. I don't know. But they're built up really nicely with just white flower, like leaf pieces, and then like cow horns. So they're recognizable. And then there's like a candelabra attaching them to the actual carriage. But yeah, like this is another excellent little build. You know, I think the Durmstrang ship is a little bit more successful, but I mean, at this scale, this is pretty perfect. And I love that you can have it flying you know, like above the Great Hall. And you can rotate this, so it could be flying past the Great Hall that way, but I kind of like it over here, like it's about to swoop past the Great Hall. And then next up, we have the Marble Staircase Tower, which I think the Gryffindor Common Room is supposed to be in here, but it's like the big one with all of the twisting staircases, and it is the second tallest point in Hogwarts. It's also where Dumbledore's office is located in the little branching turrets, and honestly, I'd say that this is the like least accurate part of the set, I guess, because it only has two branching turrets instead of three. And they're also on the same level because they're just built with a little binocular piece. So I understand, you know, at this scale it's difficult to achieve like complete architectural accuracy, but I think that other areas of the castle are a little bit more successful in being perfectly accurate, like the Astronomy Tower, and I really would have loved. I feel like there must have been some other way to get like all three towers in here, but maybe it would have been too delicate, you know, because these sets need to go through like rigorous testing. But still, this is one area where I might try to modify it to get all three turrets. Other than that, though, this thing looks perfect. Like, I'm really pleased with it, and it's actually kind of cool how even like the little notches existing in the bricks almost make it look like windows. So I think that that's pretty successful on the whole. And then finishing out the section from, like I said, the 2018 set, you do have that little entrance to the quad, but we'll take a closer look at the quad in just a minute. And then over here you have the Viaduct Entrance building, which has another exclusive print, which I think looks excellent, another doorway, and then you have the viaduct itself, which unfortunately is one of my least favorite areas in the set. It's kind of very delicately assembled, like all of these little one by one studs are just like barely clinging in there, and the whole thing is like kind of just nestled in at an angle, which is fine, but it's just that these pieces aren't really like they don't stay perfectly straight. Like they want to knock into each other, they want to separate, and it annoys me when I want everything to be like 100% perfectly aligned. So I wasn't really expecting that. So yeah, so the viaduct is one of my least favorite areas of the model just because of how fragile it is. And honestly, that kind of surprised me at a few different points in construction. I was surprised at how fragile, like, there's two areas of the set, the viaduct and then one at the back, which is fine because this is a display model. It's just surprising because I don't really expect things to be that loose in an official set. The rest of the building is built up pretty nicely. You have the pillars. I mean, I can't keep talking about the spires and the turrets because they all look similar, although they are all like a little bit different. Like I really like the thinner ones at the back here, and then you do have printed windows as well. So that is pretty cool. Now let's move on. This is like the cathedral-y section of Hogwarts. I don't even know what it's really called because most of what I know about the building names come from what was in that Lego set in 2018. So like I don't know what this tower is. I think like a lot of the classrooms are supposed to be back here. And like these are like the twin kind of bell towers, so those are very iconic. And honestly, like I expected us to get a gray roof set of those at some point, which unfortunately we didn't. But I guess maybe I'll just have to custom one up. But this is also where the greenhouses are. So down here, you can see a bunch of windows. Like there's a printed window back there, and then there's a bunch of printed windows all along here, and then there's just a whole row of greenhouses, and that extends all the way down the side, where we'll go in just a second. But I think that the towers themselves look really good. Like I'm very pleased. I think all of the towers in this set look again super accurate. Sorry about the focusing issue. There we go. But yeah, all of the towers look very accurate. You know, I could definitely tell what I was building. This is probably the one that I'm least familiar with, which is why I don't know its name. But all of the other areas of the castle that I know better, I think, are just done absolutely perfectly. And so I'm sure this one is done perfectly as well. So anyway, like I said, down here, greenhouses. I really love the entrance, especially because that little hole, you know, like makes a little door. And speaking of doors, you have another one back there. And yeah, just a whole ton of greenhouses. There's no interior details here, but you will see some interior details in the set in just a second. And then you have this little kind of like side entrance behind the castle. And this is where I think like the flying lesson and stuff in Philosopher's Stone took place. I really love that tiny little entryway into like the courtyard of the astronomy tower. That's just so perfect. And I love like the whole kind of paved light bluish gray path. And of course, right here you can see the Whomping Willow with the Weasley's flying car stuck in it, which again is really well realized at such a tiny scale. And then you have some bushes, some more printed windows. This thing is really like fully detailed around the back, and it's such a treat to see. There's some more natural detail in this corner, so you have like a little rock staircase, and this is like the entryway to that kind of courtyard area. And then you have a little wooden bridge. This isn't the one that like Neville blew up with Scabior on it in Deathly Hallows Part 2, because that one like led away from the castle, but I do think it looks really cool. And this is the other fragile area I was talking about. Like this brick is like really held on like very loosely. So I don't really love that connection. I wish that was like a little bit stronger. But I love like this whole tiny like divot because again, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about the back of Hogwarts Castle, but you still have plenty of printed windows, as you can see at the back over there. You have like this really nice little rocky ravine area, and then you have this kind of winding river that goes down through the viaduct. And there's even like another little bridge from the quad over to the Viaduct Entrance building in the corner. So all of these details were just really fun to build, and honestly, I've already been talking about this set for a while, but I could talk about it for even longer, and I could stare at this set for like forever because it's beautiful. It's amazing. This also gives us a slightly better look at the Astronomy Tower, which is the tallest point in Hogwarts, and of course that's where Dumbledore died in Half-Blood Prince. But I love the windows that are built with these 1x3 like upside down, or I guess inverted tiles is the correct word, with the holes in them. That's perfect. And then even the Technic axle like bricks used to give a slightly different window shape. That's really cool. Again, it's really creative building techniques. And then inside the little astronomy tower courtyard, you can see some more printed windows, and that is like all tiled over in there. If I can kind of get you guys a little bit of a look. So that like I said, it's pretty cool. I feel like I keep saying the same things. I feel like I sound like a broken record, but what more can you say? I also really like the way the roof is built back here on the what is it, on the Viaduct Entrance building. It's got like some overlapping like slopes and stuff, and it's all interesting techniques. All right, I raised the camera up a little bit, so hopefully it's slightly easier to see what I'm talking about now with the roof. And then this is the quad, like the main quad. So you go through, like from where the viaduct is, you can go into here. And let me see if this height is enough to actually get us a look in. As you can see, it's all tiled over again. And this is a really nice area, except I think I might be wrong. I don't know if this is an architecturally accurate Hogwarts, because where's the clock tower? because I thought the quad led out to the clock tower, which then led to Hogsmeade, which I guess would be like right back here, if I'm remembering the placement of the Hogwarts buildings correctly. So I guess you still don't have all of the sections of Hogwarts because the only clock we have is the one on the Great Hall. So that's kind of surprising to me. And I mean, this is a thought I had last night after I finished building it, but I just didn't check to see if there was a clock tower anywhere. But no, there isn't. And I know the owlery, I don't know how you say it. I know that that's missing because it's on like a hill separated from the castle. But yeah, it's interesting to me that the clock tower isn't here because that's kind of like a major part of Hogwarts. But the quad itself is great. First time getting this in Lego. Another thing that I don't love is just the way the roof back here is constructed because it's just a little bit wigglier than like all of these individual sections like kind of wiggle around, whereas everything else is a little bit more sturdy. But I do like the path leading out, and that those are like the stairs that go all the way down the side of the cliffs. And then the back of the Great Hall looks pretty much just like the front, and you do have another printed piece back there. As for the interior sections, it's honestly a little bit difficult to look into them, so I'm going to have to hold this like up to the camera and maybe angle this a little bit. So this is the potions classroom, as you can see. So we have some wonderful printed bricks. Those are like just shelves with the potions, a cauldron in the center, and then you can see some windows like just glowing in the back there. And I'm actually going to get my phone flashlight so that you can hopefully see it a little bit better. But yeah, there's like 3 printed windows all the way at the back. And I think that that is really, really, really cool because they're so recessed. Like you barely see them, but it just adds to the completeness of the space. And then moving over to the left, we have the Mirror of Erised. If it will focus, which is just like a little tooth plate like set into the ground, like recessed in. And that is also really, really cool. And that was a print in the larger Hogwarts set. So I think it's really cool that it's like physically brick built in this one. And then, I mean, we're kind of going backwards for the challenges in Philosopher's Stone. But here is the chessboard, which is also a really cool room with a connection directly into the mirror room and a connection into the winged keys room, which is actually set at like, it's set on a corner. And all the way at the back, you can kind of see it back there. There's like, I don't know what it's supposed to be, but there's like shimmery blue bricks, and I don't know if that's supposed to be a specific reference because I don't remember like any kind of shimmery blue stuff in this room in the books. But there you go. You can kind of see like those glittery pieces. So that's cool. You do have the Devil's Snare. Sorry, I feel like I'm using cool like too much to describe this set. So maybe I'll switch to nice. Look, this is a really nice room with the Devil's Snare. I love like the natural kind of cracks in the rocks, although I think Devil's Snare is supposed to be green. But this does stand out a little bit more, this color, so still nice. And then, of course, we have the Chamber of Secrets, which is essential for a set like this. This placement is not accurate. It's supposed to be under the Great Hall, but, I don't care about where it's placed as long as we see details like this. So you do have the little snakes like set into the floor. Again, they're recessed in there, which is a nice touch. And then you have a dark green regular Lego snake piece for Nagini, for the Basilisk. The original Hogwarts set used the Nagini mold as the Basilisk, so that's why I always think of Nagini when I see a little microscale Chamber of Secrets. And then all the way back there, hang on, maybe I need to turn up the glow on my flashlight a little bit. Okay, but all the way back there, you can see Salazar Slytherin's statue. So that's cool, This is a really nice area. Sorry that it's like so hard to light it, but it's really stuck back there. Like it's really difficult to get in there. But having little details like that are just so nice, because this set is not about those little details. It's not like you can put nano figures in there, but it just helps everything feel more deluxe and more finished. Here are the extra parts for this set. There's a ton of them. Like you get a lot of extras in this set. The box for this set is like a standard 18+ one, but that style really works for just kind of a scale display model like this. And then you have this nice look at the top of the set on top of the box. And then at the back, you just have some more views of the castle, and you can really see how faithful it is to the original with that image right there. 2 instruction manuals, both with this really nice white cover, and inside, much like a direct-to-consumer set or an architecture set, you have a lot of information about the castle itself. And this is the designer who I actually don't recognize from other Harry Potter sets, but I think it's really amazing that they made this set. And, it's really nice to hear from the designer. And it's nice to hear about, like why certain details were included. But there's nothing like that in the second booklet. The second one is just strict building. As is often the case with my videos, this one has gotten much longer than I anticipated. However, I think you can really tell how much I love this set. I love Hogwarts in general. Like, the architectural styles are so interesting to me. I really like buildings, like, I don't want to be an architect, but I like architecture, and Hogwarts to me is like one of the most interesting things to look at because I also like castles. And so I really love that we finally got a Lego set that captures most of the castle. I am a little bit disappointed to realize that we still don't have stuff like the clock tower in here. It's also dangerous because this really activates my desire to build that MOC I was mentioning based off of the 2018 set. And on that note, I wish I could compare this to the 2018 set, but unfortunately the 2018 one is at home in Michigan, so I can't actually compare them. I will say that I think that this is definitely worth the price. For $170, you get almost 3,000 pieces, a great exclusive minifigure, and of course a wonderful model that's packed full of detail and has a really interesting building experience. But I still like the 2018 one better because it costs, I guess, maybe almost 3 times as much as this one now, but it's just so, like, grandiose. It's so large. Like, that one also has like excellent building techniques. That one has 4 exclusive minifigures, and it is only half the castle, but it's like a really, really, really good half the castle. So if you have to pick one, I would honestly say save up for the larger one. But if you have no interest in the larger one because you want a full castle, or you just don't have the space for something that big, this is definitely an excellent set. And I love that it's catering to like a completely different audience. And again, like I said earlier, that is so interesting because we don't really see multiple Lego sets of the same subject matter in 2 different scales at a micro scale level. We're used to minifigure scale and micro scale, but there's not really like different degrees of micro scale. So that's really interesting to me. I do think that this set is like really, really great. Honestly, I don't make a list of my favorite sets every year, but I'm kind of thinking about doing one this year because this would definitely be on it. And I know I said that about another set recently, although I can't remember what set I said it about. But yeah, that's how I feel about this set. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. Thank you if you watched all the way to the end, and I'll see you guys with more videos soon. Bye for now.